África empezó la punta. Garifuna legacy, halaga te garina go.
First of all, producing the first album, how was that like? Not just already producing it, but just the idea that you guys are about to do an album, and then when y'all get to the studio and y'all actually, already starting the first song, like, how was all of that like?
Okay, I didn't have too much involvement in the producing of the first album.
Okay, wow.
All of that were most of the songs were the songs that came that they already had when I rejoined the group.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I just came to put my part in as
Mm-hmm.
what I played.
Okay.
But all that is Denny,
Mm-hmm.
Linky, and Eddie production arrangement.
Oh, wow.
But
Interesting.
because I don't recall any of the songs on that first album that I no, what I did
Mm-hmm.
was actually in the studio
Okay.
recording it. I did a lot of the pianos,
Mm-hmm.
some of the bass,
Mm-hmm.
and almost all the percussion,
Oh,
drums
wow.
and congas.
Oh, wow.
So that was where my most of my influence was at on the actual recording
Okay.
itself. I really didn't produce anything in the first album. The second one, from the second one down, that's when I started getting
Okay.
involved in producing.
Okay. So on the first album, you mainly did all the percussions.
Hmm.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think you play bass on number 3, the songs that Eddie sings,
Yeah,
Papire.
Papita, that's me on the
Okay.
bass. Yeah,
Okay. Interesting.
and I yeah, on the bass, and then I did a lot of the pianos because um, coincidentally that every time we had to do an album,
Mm-hmm.
a musician quit the group,
Oh, wow.
so I had to do that part of that missing musician.
Okay.
So that happened on all albums.
Oh, wow. So on the first
Yeah.
album, there was a musician that quit the group, which was the reason why you had to play multiple
Yeah,
instruments. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Wow.
And I don't recall which musician exactly it was.
Mm-hmm.
I know on the second one, I think it was Denny.
Okay.
Denny had left the group. So when it came to the studio time, I had to do all his parts.
Okay.
So
Okay.
and then I split the drums. I did most of the drums, but I let Linky
Mhm.
record. I think one,
Okay.
and I let Pequeño do one. I think too.
Oh,
So
wow. Where were y'all recording these albums, in what studio?
all the recordings for Garifuna Kids were done in Long Island.
In Long Island?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
LSE recording studio.
Oh,
Jake
okay.
Ronaldo.
I heard of Jake Ronaldo.
Yeah.
He has great work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Italian guy.
Okay.
So that's where we did all our albums, and that's where I developed my engineering skills
Okay.
and my passion for engineering. And I took Ugaro Band from Belize, and I did the album there. I
Oh,
recorded it
okay.
and produced it there.
The Dr. Dia.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, I
okay.
did all that. I
Okay.
played bass on the whole album too.
Oh, wow.
Um, I and that's where Linky did Jimmy's album.
Okay.
He did
Same
Nino's
time?
album. No, it was a little
Okay.
bit after.
Okay.
Jimmy album, Nino's album. I was involved in Nino's album.
Okay.
At least I was there.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Amistad album. Simultaneously,
Mm-hmm.
we did two songs for my album, my
Okay.
solo album.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's how we.
Wow. Interesting. All right. So, the second GK album, you said that Denny wasn't involved like that because he was out of the group already. So now on the arrangements, it's just mainly you, Eddie, and Linky still.
Yeah, actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was actually Manuel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think it was actually Manuel that wasn't a
Okay.
part of the band right there. I think Denny was there.
Oh, okay.
I think it was actually Manuel the one that left.
Okay.
Because it happened on every album, so
Mhm.
something
Yeah.
was wrong,
Yeah.
but I know Denny. It happened with Denny one album. I don't know if it was the first one
Mhm.
or if it was the second one.
Okay.
And I know it happened with Manuel.
Okay.
With Manuel, it was the second because Manuel wasn't around for the first album.
Wow.
So I had to do those parts. So it's basically, it was Linky,
Mhm.
Eddie
Okay.
also played some stuff on the keys
Okay.
and bass. Well, I mean, it was just us three basically switching around.
Okay.
But a lot of the extra stuff being that, because one of the things that the Roaches brothers made an obligation
Uh huh.
for that same purpose. If somebody's missing, you have pick up the slack.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
they made us all play different instruments.
Oh wow.
I already knew how to play a lot of instruments,
Mhm.
but then they enforced it and made it a rule that whoever comes into the band has to learn how to play more instruments.
Oh
So
wow.
that's why there's songs that and videos that you see Christian,
Mhm.
he's the singer, but you see him playing drums on some songs. You
Okay.
saw Coco playing congas on some songs.
Exactly.
You even saw him playing drums.
Mhm.
You saw Manuel on drums.
Yeah.
You saw me going up and down the stage playing all the instruments.
Mhm. Yep.
So and even Linky and Eddie. So it was part of the rule.
Yeah.
Everyone had to play everything because we always find ourselves in a situation that a musician is missing, or their parent took them out of the group, or something happened,
Mhm.
and we had to pick up the slack.
Oh wow.
So
And you know what's crazy? I've heard right throughout the years, I've heard that that Garifuna kids learned how to play all of the instruments, but it's just like now hearing you say that, nah man, we had to do that because y'all had to do that because members would leave and stuff like that, and then the managers made y'all pick up every instrument. That's very great information.
yeah, we were a very solid team.
Okay.
So we really didn't have a lot of in and outs. We
Mm.
barely had that, but when it did happen, we were prepared for it.
Okay.
Or even if a musician was missing, they couldn't perform that day, or they didn't show up, or whatever happened.
Yeah.
We always were prepared to pick up the slack
Okay.
and to not let that void be felt.
Mhm.
So
Interesting.
we were all prepared for that.
Okay. So now, right, there's an album that Garifuna Kids produced too for Eduardo Ballesteros that I consider, and many musicians that knows of sound, that I consider a third Garifuna Kids album because the arrangements were more different and stuff like that or whatever. So you guys, the original Garifuna Kids, was behind that Eduardo Ballesteros album, just to put that out there. But there was a big confusion with the cover that came out because on the cover you have the second generation of Garifuna Kids. So now, right before we get into that, I want to I want to ask you about producing an album for Eduardo Ballesteros, and I'm assuming the year is like what, like 95, 96. And I know Eduardo to be a very old school musician from like the late 70s. So how was that? Like, bringing because I don't even know if he was retired or not, but just working with a veteran at the time, and him giving y'all the freedom to basically do what y'all want on his production.
Musically, he was retired,
Okay.
but Eduardo was always involved with us with our albums because he was our vocal coach.
Oh wow.
So every time we were in the studio, he'll direct our vocals,
Wow.
pronunciation, our tone, make
Uh-huh.
sure we on key. He was our vocal coach.
Yo, shout out to Eduardo Ballesteros,
He
man.
was our vocal, so he was always involved, and he's the Roach's brother's uncle.
Okay.
So
Okay.
they wanted to get him involved and help him out, and
Mm-hmm.
not much help him out because he wasn't seeking help,
Yeah.
because he wasn't involved in music.
Okay.
He was already doing his own stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not so easy for a musician to get away from this.
Mhm.
This is your life. You this is basically all you know how to do.
Exactly.
So what happens is that they give him the proposal. They make the proposal to him
Uh-huh.
for them to be his manager, his management company, and to bring him, as part of the team.
Yeah.
And sell Garifuna Kids along with him.
Mm-hmm.
Him to have his show within our show.
Okay.
So we did that, and we started getting an album together.
Wow.
But we put the relationship straight.
Okay.
We had to come to an agreement how things were gonna work.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. He was willing to let us take over because we were the bomb at that time.
Yeah. For
We
real.
got, and it's not to boast or anything, but it's just the truth.
Yeah.
That was the biggest band at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't mind.
Okay.
He didn't mind musically. He loved everything we did. Eddie was a big part of the lyrics
Okay.
because Eduardo wrote a lot of the songs. He even got songs from other singers like Aurelio.
Oh, okay.
There's 2 songs on there that belong to Aurelio, Cabanichi Gabu and another one.
Okay.
I forgot the name of it. But then, but most of the choruses of the songs in the Ravanes, that's Eddie.
Oh, okay.
Eddie used to write all the choruses and all that stuff.
Oh,
Because
wow.
Eduardo, he doesn't do the choruses most of the time. He does the verses.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So that's how it worked. So
Mm.
that was the chemistry.
Okay.
Eduardo brings the song.
Mm-hmm.
We record it on the tape.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie takes it home, works on the chorus, and writes it whatever. And then next week on rehearsal,
Mm-hmm.
we put it together.
Oh, wow.
So
That's teamwork.
most of the arrangements of that album, Eduardo's album, is me.
Okay.
But Eddie as well did production.
Oh, wow.
Eddie has arrangements on there as well. And
Okay.
there's a lot of arrangements that we did together.
Mm.
Linky did one or two. Linky really had very minimum
Okay.
involvement. And the reason for that, because there was already tension between Linky and Eddie, mainly, and the Roaches brothers.
Oh, wow.
Which leads up to at the end for the band to split.
Okay.
But that's the main. That's the way it worked. Me and Eddie were the ones that basically did that album.
Oh, wow.
Linky recorded because he did record. He did drum stuff. He did things on the bass. He played on almost every song.
Okay.
But he didn't produce a lot. I think he only produced like 2 songs, and I did most of it. And then Eddie did a lot of stuff with me.
Oh, wow. That's interesting because that disc, I just bought that disc not too long ago in Brooklyn because there's a guy out there that sells CDs, Hector M. Vera.
Oh, Vera, yeah.
Yeah, he sells, so I bought it. I'm like, yo, let me pick this up. And I always been interested in the Eduardo album because the lyrics are inside of the booklet or whatever.
Yeah.
So, I see the picture and then I see the year that the album was published. I'm like, wait, this picture doesn't add up. And then on the back it says 1997, Roches Brothers, and I know that album was worked on. Even the sound that it has, it sounds like, it was worked on 94, 95 when Garifuna Kids was hot.
Yeah, the album came out a lot later than when it was, a lot of time afterwards from the recording.
Okay.
Because we recorded it 94, 95, and we split up in 96.
Okay.
When we came back from Honduras, our second tour. So, and after we split, the album came out like almost a year later. So that album was put back for a while.
Oh, wow. Okay, it was one of those.
And the thing is that it was put back, and they put the picture of the other guys because the way everything ended was very sour.
Okay.
And for them to get back at us, the Roaches brothers, to hurt us, hurt our ego and all that stuff, they changed the picture. They put the new people picture, and they eliminated a lot of verbal things that we said on the album.
Oh, wow.
So in Kabani Chigabu, on the original master, there's a lot of things that Eddie says that's not on the album that you actually bought.
Oh, okay.
And it's like that on a lot of songs.
Oh, wow.
Garifuna Kids were the ones that implemented saying people's name in the songs. And there's a reason behind that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The reason is, and I might be jumping the guns.
Yeah, no, you good, man.
The reason is that the problem initiated with Garifuna Kids because we never felt that we needed to have a director.
Okay.
I really didn't mind. I really didn't care. But I was very much of a follower.
Yeah.
I wasn't really much of a leader. So I really followed what Eddie said.
Okay.
And at that time, it made sense to me that we really didn't need to have a director because we all did everything.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I had qualities to be a director. Eddie had qualities to be a director.
Right.
Linky had qualities. So, but the Roaches brothers chose Linky because he was the closest. He lived closest to the rehearsal place.
Okay.
He was always there. So, and there was a family connection.
Like
so
I said,
we didn't think that we needed a director, and we thought that everyone had the capability of doing it. So, the Roaches brothers chose Linky, but Eddie was really uncomfortable with that.
Okay.
And like I said, I followed what Eddie said. So everybody else ended up pulling to that side. And we ended up accepting it because the Roaches brothers like, this is what's gonna happen, and that's it.
Oh, wow.
You get what I'm saying? They put their foot down. So what we did, and what Eddie did, he was like, all right, since they doing it like that, so we're just gonna start saying names in the song. So he said, Big Junior, dame ese bajo ahí. So then
Okay.
he's letting the people know
Uh-huh.
that I'm doing the bass line, that I'm doing something on the bass.
Okay.
Or he said, Emmanuel, pa 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 pa. Even though
Manuel,
but that's not Manuel playing, that's me.
Okay.
Because Manuel he left the group.
Okay.
So I had to play with that. But when we did it live,
Mhm.
it's Manuel the one that's doing it.
Okay.
You know, and that's I think that was Linky that invented that
Mhm.
that figura, you know,
Okay.
that sax part.
Okay.
But in the recording, is me playing it.
Okay. Now you know what? That sax part, I've heard that in the Gobana recording. I think that comes from
Yeah,
Gobana.
see, that's why I said Linky was the one that brought it.
Brought it to
he
the-
brought it to the group.
okay.
Because that's from Gobana. You're right.
Mhm.
Linky was the one that brought that to the group because
Mhm.
Linky had Gobana's tape,
Okay.
a live recording,
Okay.
a live video. Sorry.
Oh wow.
So that's how we put it in, and that's how we got the song
Okay.
Mala, because it was a go we got it from Gobana, you know, first time. So,
Yeah.
and that's how we put it in. So that's how everything started with what nowadays everybody's doing that.
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
that came from us, from Garifuna Kids.
Wow.
So and that's the reason behind it, because we needed to get credit for what we were doing.
Wow.
We wanted to get credit. We wanted people to know who's doing what.
Mhm.
Because normally in the group,
Mhm.
the director's the one that does everything.
Yeah.
The director's the producer. He's the arranger.
Yep.
My dad was the director of all his groups, and he was the one doing all arrangements.
Okay.
I was the director Casave, and I did 96% of the arrangements.
Wow.
I let other people do stuff
Mhm.
because I'm gonna do it. No, but it was just my job.
Yeah.
So I did most of the arrangements.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
So that's and musically dealing with bands and orchestras. The one that produces is the director.
Okay.
So we never felt correct that someone else should take our credit.
Okay.
So that's where everything came from.
Mm.
And Linky always said, I mean, I don't need to be the director. I don't care.
Yeah.
If I'm not. But the Roaches brothers are the ones that. So I didn't have anything against Linky. Linky's my blood, so
Yeah.
I didn't have anything against him. But at that moment, Eddie was pushing that. So
Okay.
I followed him.
Wow.
I followed him, and that's how everything the relationship started getting a little bit sour, tense between Eddie and the Roaches brothers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yo, that's crazy, because when I was reading the credits, and I'm hearing you now, I'm reading the credits, and Linky is credited for everything, almost all of the arrangements, and I don't see your name on there not one time.
Yeah, they took everything out. They
Oh,
eliminated
wow.
everything because the Roaches brothers were hurt.
Yeah.
We were hurt too.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when we did Manos Arriba, we didn't do it thinking too much about our
Okay.
fans.
Mm-hmm.
We did it more thinking about we gotta crush the Roaches brothers.
Wow. Manos arriba.
Yeah, we gotta crush Garifuna Kids. We gotta make them want to end that band. That was our mentality.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'll be honest about it. I mean, there's no need to lie. I mean, that's what we were. That's every time I was producing a song for Legacy album,
Mm-hmm.
and we were recording something. First, we did it with love because we respect our music and our talent.
Mm-hmm.
But we were thinking about Garifuna Kids.
Wow.
I mean, not the band itself, but we were thinking about the Roaches.
Yeah.
And when we saw the band, because I used to go dance with Garifuna Kids.
Okay.
We used to go to their parties. Carlos' place.
Mm-hmm.
We used to go up there, and I used to look, because then Linky switched the sound of the group.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
If you hear the official third Garifuna Kids album,
Yeah.
me and Eddie used to go hang out with a whole bunch of people on Friday nights or Saturdays.
Mm-hmm.
And in the van I used to drive,
Mm-hmm.
we had Garifuna Kids on blast.
Oh, wow.
Boy, we used to we loved that album.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Mi Tierra Bella.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we really didn't have anything against the band itself.
Mm-hmm.
It was against the Roaches.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because we went to go, I remember, like I said, we went to Carlos' place one time, they were playing,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, yo,
Mm-hmm.
Linky had changed, he added like, do like a double kick
Uh-huh.
in the drum machine. I was like, yo, he killing it with that. I was like, yo, this is nice.
Mm-hmm.
And when we did our music, we didn't think about competing with them.
Okay.
We never did music to compete with them. That's one of the biggest things and different things about Garifuna Legacy and Garifuna Kids.
Okay.
We never did music based on competing with anybody. So I think that was one of the reasons why we had a lot of success too.
Okay.
Because we never did things like looking at who we're gonna affect or anything like that. We just wanted to be the bomb.
Wow.
And just wanted people to love us and like us for what we did.
Okay.
You know.
All right. So now, now that we got to Manos Arriba, how was the process of making that? And I asked that because, all right, see, like, me, right? I used to have this bad habit of thinking that I know it all just because of how it made me feel or whatever. But, I could have sworn, yeah, I did that album. Well, yeah, I did do it in 97. But I did see a video of Garifuna Legacy playing in the summer of 96. And y'all were already playing them songs like the way y'all recorded them. And it's just, and it was just crazy to me. So I said to myself, whenever I interview one of them, I have to ask them, how was that like playing songs already, then going into the studio, like, man, we got this already. We know what we about to do. How was that process?
Yeah, we had that. That was part of our mechanisms our mechanism since we were in Garifuna Kids.
Oh, okay.
We do the song and we play it, and the people start getting a taste of it.
Okay.
And then when it's time to record, we go in the studio and we knock it out.
Wow.
But the Garifuna Legacy album was done in 3 different studios.
Oh, wow.
It was finished at Jake's studio because we did the album there too. But we did a few songs in Denny's studio.
Okay.
We did another few songs with Jose.
Okay.
Jose Batis.
Okay. And that was your sound engineer, right?
Yeah.
Lace,
yeah.
they call
Lace,
him, if I'm not
Lace,
mistaken.
Lace,
Okay.
Big up Lace. I
Okay.
think he lives in Atlanta now.
Okay.
We did things in his studio. I think in his studio we did Lubuido. We did the hip hop because he produced the hip hop too.
Okay.
That we did along with Eddie and myself and Denny. So we did it, in those places, and as well, we started building a studio, Eddie and myself, in Eddie's house.
Oh, wow.
So we did a lot of stuff there too.
Okay.
And we ended up, then we just dumped everything with Jake. And that's where we put all the live instruments on top.
Okay. At Jake's studio.
Yeah, we did pre-production in other studios, and then we dumped everything in live recording at Jake's studio.
Oh, wow.
But then that's when I took over the mixing.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I mixed that album.
Oh, okay. The Unfinished Business.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why that album sounds bad.
Yeah. A lot of us love it though.
Yeah, I know. But I listened to it, I'm like, man, and I remember you mentioned Hector Vera. I remember we were in the house, in Eddie's house, waiting. We already went to sound check and everything. I forgot where we were playing at in the Bronx. So we were at Eddie's house chilling, getting ready. I was actually on the piano doing some stuff, and Hector Vera shows up with his business partner. And because they already had the album.
Okay.
And there was like, I think they were picking up some albums, more copies to sell.
Okay.
He was like, yeah, but that song, the bass distorts and the low end distorts, the kick distorts. And then Eddie was like, I asked him, he mixed it. And I was like, oh, damn.
Oh, snap. Right under the book. That's funny.
Yeah. But it was funny because then, those are things that made me learn.
Okay.
Because I was the most active one in the studio when we did the Garifuna Kids album, the Eduardo album.
Okay.
I was in there while everybody else was outside talking or going to buy something to eat. I was in the booth recording.
Wow.
I was assisting Jake, connecting stuff and mixing, and I was involved in all of those things.
Oh, wow.
So that's how my passion came up for recording and all that.
Okay.
So when we did the Legacy album, all that was on my lap.
Oh, wow.
Yo,
and that's interesting because the arrangements on that Unfinished Business album, it's like next level. It's like next level, right? And it's just like now I have more questions about that album. So now, right, in the intros and stuff like that, what is it that made y'all come up with the little comical twist of of being at a party and asking oh, who's gonna be here tonight? Like, oh, Legacy who? And stuff like that. All of those like like little comedy sketches that used to come in between your recordings.
That comes about because Eddie, since he was young, his parents bought him a video camera. Okay. And since back when he used to live in Bronzeville, he used to do skits. Okay. So he used to do the skits, the video skits, with Coco, Tito, with Linky, with all those. We used to do different skits sometimes. Hey, we be chilling. Hey, let's do a skit. and we just do something stupid.
Yeah.
And we just always did that. We did it.
Okay.
We always did it.
Mhm.
Always did it. Eddie moved to the Bronx. We used to continue doing it.
Wow.
We had all the musicians getting involved in doing it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we
Okay.
used to put Michael Jackson songs, and then act it out and whatever.
Mhm.
It was just a lot of stupid stuff,
Wow.
funny stuff.
Nah.
So we just wanted to, get involved and just do something like that on the album.
Okay.
Put a little bit of our American side
Yeah.
into the, into our Garifuna stuff.
Okay.
you know.
Yeah, and they made it fun. And you know what's something that one of my cousins brought up to me about the Garifuna Legacy album, that most of y'all choruses, they're like chants. It's not like harmonical choruses. It's like stuff for everybody in the stadium to sing back.
Yeah,
like,
but that's the way, that's the spirit of the choruses, right?
uh-huh.
But there's a lot of out of tune singing,
Yeah, there is. There is.
and I'm gonna tell you the reason for that.
Mm-hmm.
We were out of control.
Okay.
The album, like I said, we didn't have anybody to control us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like when you have a dog on a leash,
Mm-hmm.
and then when you take the leash off, it just goes crazy.
Yeah.
That's what happened to us.
Oh, wow.
We didn't have anybody to lead us in a sense of discipline and everything like that. We were on our own, so we did whatever we wanted.
And after dealing with Roches Brothers, I'm sure in your minds, y'all had this, oh, no, we good. We got
Yeah,
it.
and part of the rebelliousness, we didn't want to keep following what they already had installed in us because we were hurt.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So we didn't want to do what they told us, but let's do it our way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even though we know that their way was the correct way. So we didn't have a vocal coach.
Wow.
We just did things based on our knowledge and our ear.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of things we were drinking in the studio,
Okay.
which that was a no-no.
While recording
Yeah.
unfinished business.
We
Wow.
were drinking.
Okay.
So a lot of I didn't drink
Mm-hmm.
because I was the one driving.
Okay.
Because I was the driver of the group.
Okay.
Because we had the van, and I was the one. The van. I was the responsible one for the van. I was responsible for the van.
Yeah.
Like I said, Legacy started in my basement, so all the instruments were in my house.
Okay.
So, I had to drive and everything, so I wouldn't drink.
Okay.
But we were singing 15-part harmonies, like
Yeah.
harmonies that you don't even know what note it is.
Yeah.
Just singing a whole bunch of stuff, and that's why it sounds, a little bit sloppy in certain songs, and Eddie's voice crack in certain stuff.
Yeah.
And, we just a little bit out of order, a little bit out of order. People liked it because it was
Yeah.
like more of a party album.
Okay. Yeah. Exactly.
but,
exactly.
But when you look at it on a professional side,
Uh-huh.
our things that we did with Garifuna Kids were a lot more organized and in an orderly fashion. Manos Arriba album, the Unfinished Business album, is a great album. It has a lot of potential.
Yes, it does.
And a lot of songs became hits. They became classics.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the group changed its style after I left,
Okay. Yeah.
and Denny came back, and a lot of things just took a different route. It was good.
Yeah.
It was good. So
Yo, when you left, they were crippled, man. And I'm not throwing no shade, but I grew up watching a lot of videos and stuff like that. But you leaving there, I feel like, oh, okay. I feel like I don't even know if they realized the change or anything or whatever and stuff like that. But when you left, it there was a sadness there.
And I think part of the problem was it's just two sides of that, because I think the band depended too much on me,
Okay.
because my responsibility with Legacy was tremendous.
Yeah. Let's get into that. What were your responsibilities?
I was basically the director of the group.
Okay.
I had to load the van with whoever was able to help me out. And at that time, it was only Pequeño. Ivan Gotay became a part of the crew, so he used to help me load the van in my house.
Okay.
And then I had to drive from Brooklyn all the way to the Bronx to play.
Wow.
Unload, play, and at the end of the performance, drive the Bronx people home, drive to my house, unload the instruments, then go drive to leave Pequeño at Coney Island, and then go back home. So I was the last one to get home.
Wow.
You get what I'm saying?
And before anything, right, not to cut you off, and my people, I want y'all to understand, I know y'all know what unload means, right? But for those people that are not into music, unload, we're talking about all the instruments y'all see on stage, speakers, cables, microphones. We talking about everything. You know, not just his piano and his bass. No, we talking about everything that's
Sound
making the
system,
party shake.
everything.
Sound system, all of that.
Yeah, so I had to. So I was the last one to get home 6, 7 in the morning.
Wow.
And I didn't get paid extra. I got paid just like everybody else.
Wow.
You know,
what was the pay at that time?
It varied. It varied, but it was even.
Okay.
It was even for everybody.
Okay.
Because by that time we had a manager,
okay.
Gus Alvarez.
Oh, okay.
It's Eddie's uncle. So we had a split, and whatever was for the band.
Were y'all seeing over $100 yet?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Okay.
Well, not all the time.
Okay.
It was very very few times, but
okay.
Okay. But yeah. And so that was my responsibility, and I was producing most of the songs.
Wow.
Studio wise, I recorded a lot of the stuff.
Yeah.
Eddie produced a lot of stuff with me too.
Okay.
He did a lot of. He used to bring a lot of ideas already formed.
Oh wow.
So
shout out to Eddie, man.
The songs that I sing, I did myself.
Okay.
But Eddie always did chorus because I'm not a chorus person.
Okay.
So Eddie as well. The choruses from my songs, Eddie was the one that wrote them. The one for Garifuna Kids and the one on Legacy album.
Oh wow, interesting.